Welcome back to Tiny Garage Fabrication. My name is Matt, and today we're on day 2 of the 1972 Chevy C10 Build-a-thon. Yesterday I got the front end all taken apart and I started cleaning up the crossmember and suspension. Stuff was super disgusting. Gonna clean it up a bit more. Gonna try to get the frame completely stripped and get the firewall completely stripped. All of the rest of the cables and vacuum hoses and wiring and everything I want to pull back into the inside, as well as get all the control arms, the spindles, the coils, everything out of the front end. That way I can clean it really good and get it all ready for paint, as well as prep for doing some of the rust repair on little spots like this right up here in the cowl. And it's just going to be limited rust repair. There's more rust, but I'm not going to fix it all. Well, with the intro out of the way, let's stop screwing around. Let's get to work. So I'm going to start by removing all of the front suspension, and I need to get it cleaned off. So with a scraper, screwdriver, brush, start hacking away at decades of oil, crud, dirt, filth. You can see my mound of dirt getting bigger and bigger on the floor. I'm going to sweep it up into a big pile. There we go. Now I'm going to start removing things. I'm going to start with the shock and including the upper shock mount, because I've got new ones coming in which will change the position of the upper shock mount to accommodate the drop that I'm putting on this thing. After that, we'll disconnect tie rods and sway bar, and then move on to jacking it up to relieve some tension from the coil spring, and then the cotter pins, castle nuts, and ball joints. We'll get those separated with a little bit of work and a hammer to pop those things free. And once free, the spindle kind of falls right out. Lower the jack, spring falls out, and now we can work on getting the control arms out. I'm leaving the control arm pivots on the upper and lower in place because these things are a pain in the butt to remove on this particular chassis. There's like an internal and external thread, but they're different thread counts, so it's just weird and it's not worth my time right now. The plan is, once I make a ton of money becoming rich and famous on YouTube, I'm going to put tubular control arms on this thing, which means that these things are just going to do for probably the life of this vehicle. Now removing some more steering stuff and getting the 2 U-bolts that take the lower control arm off, and that thing falls out of place. And then I take off 2 of the bolts that hold the crossmember to the frame. There's 2 each side on the uprights, and then I'll show you the rest of them later. Now get the steering gearbox out of the way. I will remove the steering shaft at the rag joint. And there are 4 bolts on the back side of the frame. Pop those things out and the steering gear comes right out. Then we'll remove the rest of the steering pieces. And off camera I did the passenger side, same way as everything else. Now here are those 6 bolts, 3 of them on each side that run through the frame and the top of the crossmember, and you can access them from little pockets on the bottom side of the crossmember to get to the nuts on the back side. Now with those 6 bolts out, as well as the 2 on each side on the uprights, the crossmember just kind of falls right out. Well, as you can see, frame is completely stripped. I've got all of the pieces for the suspension in the back of the 4Runner. I'm going to take them home, degrease them, pressure wash them, clean them in the way that I can't over here at my shop because I don't have any running water here. Kind of a pain in the butt, really. Alright, back at the house here, I got the pressure washer going. I will work on the steering gear and then the sway bar and some of the brake lines. One of the spindles, as well as the brake caliper, get some of the U-joints as well as the sway bar mounts, the upper control arms right here, lower control arms, and the steering drag link arm, another control arm. And once these things have been kind of rinsed off with the pressure washer, get some degreaser and a brush, go over them fairly thoroughly. Now this is where the real work is done, and this takes a fair amount of time. After it's degreased, rinse it off, and looks pretty good. Well, my poor little pressure washer just died. I wish I had smell-o-vision, because this thing is awful right now. And I've still got a lot of work to do. This is gonna suck. Well, I finished all that stuff begrudgingly off camera. It wasn't worth filming all of the cursing that was going on. So back over here at the shop, kind of the same thing, but with a whole lot less pressure. I got some degreaser, a brush, and a little pump sprayer from Harbor Freight. This thing is kind of a lifesaver over here at the shop where I'm at. I really wish I had a pressure washer. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and drop a comment that says RIP Stanley, or leave a comment with a recommendation for a good gas-powered pressure washer, something that might last a few more years than my little electric one did. So finally, the frame horns are completely clean and degreased. Well, maybe not completely clean, there's still just some crud. I'm going to go over these one more time with some brake cleaner right before I paint them. But they're looking pretty good, and that's all just with, you know, some elbow grease and a garden sprayer. I still need to get to the firewall, but just doing the frame and cleaning everything up as far as I did, I'm in this like 3 hours. So it sucks, it takes forever. Next time I work on the truck, I'm going to clean the firewall. I keep saying it, finally gonna do it. And then I'm going to clean all of that, get ready to fix the rust, and then get ready to just black out all of this. All right, well, that's it for today. All in, I've got probably 6 or 7 hours worth of cleaning between pressure washing and hand scrubbing at home, and then hand scrubbing over here at the shop. And as you can tell, I'm not even close to being done. So follow along. Don't forget to leave a comment that says RIP Stanley, or to leave a recommendation for a good gas-powered pressure washer. That way I can bring a pressure washer over here. I can get a water tank and put it in the back of the DIY trailer that I'm building. That will be in another video, at least part of it. And then I won't have to, you know, deal with these first world problems. I can have other first world problems to deal with. As always, hit the like button if you like this content. Subscribe to follow along this entire build, plus a few others. In a few weeks, I got a really cool one coming up. So stay tuned. And that's it for now. Thanks, everybody.